Hey guys, just picked up this new product on Amazon. It's one of these code readers. This one's the C-Reader 3001 OBD2 scanner. It is a wired one. I wanted to go with that this time just to give one of these a shot. Feature set on this is actually pretty good. I'll have some links in the description if you want to take a closer look or even purchase one of these. So these things are here to help you when you get your check engine light on, maybe you're buying a used car, something along those lines. You want to see the health of the vehicle. That's what these things are for. I've used these, the Bluetooth ones that will pair up, and then you can download an app. You can go that route. Got HP tuners on my computer, which is a programming software, as well as scanners. So there's a lot of different options. This option's about $500. These options here are, under $25. This guy comes in, I think it was 35 Canadian, 25 US. You can buy these at big box stores as well. They're usually from about 70 to $100. So I wanted to test this one out, see how good it is. So let's pop it open and take a look. Okay, so here's the device out of the package. A couple things with this one that I really liked. It's small and compact, fits in your hand really nice, but it still does have a nice size screen on it, so it's easy to see. Just 4-button control, so operating it's going to be pretty easy, pretty simple. You don't have to really learn a lot about it to use it. Pretty basic menu system, as we'll see. 2.5-foot cable on it. Your OBD2 port does come with a dust cover as well for storage. My intention with this is just to leave it in the tool bag in the back of my car, so that there will be a nice touch. Now there's no battery required with this, so you don't have to worry about not having a battery or a dead battery. It just takes power through the OBD2 port, so that's another nice feature. And best of all, it actually comes with a 2-year warranty on it, so that's something that Launch is covering on the CR 3001 for 2 full years. So great deal there, and money back guarantee as well, so it's hard to beat. So let's go plug this into the vehicle and see how it works. The OBD2 port on most vehicles will be on the driver's side, just under the steering wheel to the left or right. Okay, in the case of this vehicle, we've got a insurance monitor on it, so I'll just have to remove that guy. And then what we'll do is we'll take the plug from our C-Reader 3001 and then plug that into the port. And the nice thing with this is it can only go in one way because they are tapered. So now that we've got that plugged in, you'll see the unit turning on. So this is your main menu. What you're going to get Diagnose, Dtc Lookup, Tool Setup, and Help. So what I'm going to do first is just go through some of the basic stuff. So it's very simple. Just use the up or down arrow key, and when you're on something you want, you hit OK to select. So this is just some history and info about OBD2. So if we want to go in there, we'll hit select. So what is OBD2? And then it just goes through the basic principles there. If we want to get out of a menu, we just hit the return button, takes us back to the last one. So that's some stuff you'll find in there. The help menu, probably not going to go in there too often. Tool setup, we'll do that next. So we have language, and as you can see, there's quite a few different languages available, 7 in total. So we'll leave that on English, go back, and then units of measure as well. So if you're in a country that uses metric or imperial measurements, you can select that in the menu system here. Okay, now Dtc Lookup is what we're going to do once we have a code. So what we have the option to do is go through and enter in the code that we've found. If you know a code that maybe a friend has or something like that as well, and you didn't scan your vehicle with them, you can look it up in here to see what it does. So we'll get into that in a second. But the main thing we're going to use when we're using this tool is the Diagnose feature. So I'm going to go in there now. Just going to take a second and go through the processing, just reading the vehicle. So in this case, we have 0 DTCs, which is great. The readiness of our systems are all okay. Nothing incomplete, as you'll see in the third option there. So that's always good. There's a couple that are not available, which is normal. We can clear that screen just by pressing any key. I just hit the down arrow, and we can go into the read codes screen. And in here, in this case, we don't have any, so we're not going to see anything there, but this is where your codes would come up. And then you go to the Dtc Lookup to determine what the code is and how you can repair the vehicle. If you want to erase codes, So if you've got something that's come up, I recommend you write them down, all the different codes that are in there just for troubleshooting in the future. And then you can go in and erase the codes. It'll ask you if you want to do this. If you do this though, what will happen also is all your ready states for your emissions control, they will be reset. So you will have to take the vehicle through drive cycles before you go to get your emissions or smog test done. So just be aware of that anytime you're going to reset anything like an erase codes. So the next option here is the IM readiness. So if we go into that, we actually have two options, which is kind of nice. So we can do it since the DTCs were cleared. So if we just did clear a code, and we can see how our vehicle is going to perform at a e-test or smog test. So if we go into that, it'll show everything, you know, being okay. If anything's incomplete that we didn't get, or it's not available, it'll tell us that as well. It's the incompletes that you're really going to be concerned with on an emissions test. So in this case, this vehicle is okay. And then you can also do it based on the drive cycle. So now here, because I don't have the vehicle running yet, we haven't traveled the appropriate distances for these to complete their tests, the fuel system is showing incomplete, catalyst monitor incomplete. So in this case, if I did reset, we would not pass an emissions test because we have a bunch of these that are incomplete. Okay, our next one here is data stream. This is going to give us live engine data when it's plugged in and the engine is running. So I'm going to go ahead and start the car up right now, and then we'll go into that option. So with the car running, we're going to go into the data stream. Just take a second and it'll show us what data we have supported on this vehicle. You may not get everything on every single vehicle, but you will get a pretty good idea of what's going on your vehicle. Okay, so here we go. So we can see some fuel system information, engine coolant temperature at the bottom there, and there's 39 different parameters in here we can just scroll through. We've got long-term, short-term fuel trims, our map. You can see our RPM, so I'll just rev the engine just so you can see. And so the unit does respond fairly quickly. Spark advance, air intake temperature, throttle position as well. As you can see, I increased the throttle position there, the second option. It changes. Got O2 sensor as well. Give you a runtime of how long your vehicle's been on in this case. Got voltage and cat temp there as well. So that's it. Those are all 39 options that you're going to have. So there's a lot of diagnostic information that you can get out of this CR 3001. And this vehicle doesn't support the freeze frame. Some will, so that's another feature. Unfortunately, I can't show you that one. So I'm going to take a look at the O2 sensor test now. So we'll go in there. We've got two sensors in this vehicle, one upstream and one downstream of the cat. So we'll go into the first one. Then we can go in and check just about any different parameter in here that we want. So you can see if everything is within spec on this. If you want to check the low voltage or the high voltage on the sensor, you can do that as well, just to see if it is within the parameters of the particular vehicle. And then you can do the exact same thing on the second sensor. I guess this particular vehicle doesn't have one on that second bank. And onboard monitoring as well. Just go in and take a look at that. So here we can just see all kinds of different things available that we need to possibly look at. One of my favorites is the cylinder misfires. So I can go in there. So on cylinder 1, it'll tell me how many misfires I've had, and we can go through that. So if you are running into an issue where you are noticing your engine running rough, you can see exactly which cylinder it is. See, this one had 2 in the value on cylinder 3, whereas the other one's just had 1, and there's another one here. You know, those are obviously very minimal quantities of misfires. It would something be like 20, 30, 40, something like that. Then we can identify, hey, there may be a problem with cylinder number 4, maybe a spark plug wire, something like that. We also have an Evap system test in here. I don't think this vehicle will support it. It does not, but that's another option. And then you also have your vehicle information, and it'll get your VIN numbers, so you can look up your VIN or some other information for the vehicle as well. Okay, so now that we've scanned our vehicle, you know, as I said, in this case we didn't have any codes, but let's say we did have one. We're going to go into the Dtc Lookup. Always recommend writing down the code you have just so you know what it is. You're not trying to remember things because they can get kind of confusing, and they're very similar in number. So if we want to change a selection here, we would use the down arrow key. If we want to change the position, like in this case, I'm going to put in the P300 code. That's basically how I do it. Hit OK, and then it'll tell me all the info about that code. So it's a generic code. It's not specific to a specific vehicle manufacturer. It's across the board, whether you have a GM, a Toyota, Dodge, whatever it might be. And what it is a random multiple misfire. So if there's more info, you can scroll up or down, but that's the basic info. So with that code now, what we could do is go back in to our diagnostics and go to our misfire screen and just see where that misfire is taking place. So we'll go right down to the bottom here, Onboard Monitoring. We can select that option. We'll go in there, and then we can go through and just look at our cylinders like we did before, just to see which one has the misfire in it, and then determine, okay, this is cylinder number 3 located on the vehicle, and then start troubleshooting by replacing spark plugs, checking fuel injectors, that type of thing. So after using this product a little bit, definitely like it. Like I say, it's nice, small, compact, screen's really bright, easy to see. The buttons also, they're really positive touch. It's not cheap at all. It's very nice for the price of it. I would highly recommend this product, and it's certainly going to be a great addition to my tool bag on my vehicle. Something always great you should have. For the price, you can't beat it. So check out the C-Reader 3001 from launch, available on Amazon, and like I say, description has all the links and more info on it. So if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and take a look at some of the other videos I have available on how to repair vehicles, as well as just basic maintenance you can do. Always publishing new content, so like I say, please subscribe.